Hello, everybody. Thanks for being there. Um, Today, I want to talk about several considerations around mobile and why it's not only already the main gaming platform, but it's going to be even more important in the future. I start with this quote from Paulo Coelho to remember why we all started in this industry. So I think beside business, it's important to get that and remember that. I'm going to start presenting shortly the company. So we're based here in Barcelona. We are around 50 people. And we have always been working on our own technology. That's a decision we made because originally we came from the PC console industry. And we've been keeping that. So it's not better or worse. It's just the way we worked, and then we try to leverage that and maximize that. We started a very long time ago in the mobile, when Nokia was #1 mobile manufacturer, bigger than Samsung and Apple today. We were first party, so we were working for them. We were selling games on retail in the shops. So you had to buy small carts. And we were selling mobile games there. Then in 2008, we were very lucky because we were invited by Apple to present a keynote. And together with our CTO and I, we were on stage and we presented Crawl. It was the first time something like that was publicly shown on iPhone, and the idea was to open eyes on what was possible to do on a mobile device. After that, we had a lot of, I would say, publicity, and a lot of people came to us. We want to do games, quality games. And we work for big brands such as Disney, for racing game. We work with EA. They came to us because they wanted to have the Battlefield brand on mobile. So they came to us and say, okay, what can we do with that? Then we work with Adidas on several sport-related projects. We work with a company called Natural Motion on a ice hockey game. We're with a Japanese company called Gunho that now is one of the top leading company in the world. And after a certain time, we realized that it was good for the money. It was good for, working with big IPs and big teams, but it was not bringing value to the company. So this is an IP word. IP, I mean intellectual property. So if you don't control the IP, you won't make really money on that. So we decided a little bit more than now 3 years ago to say no to those guys, which is not an easy decision, and to bet on our own development, to risk everything on our own IP. So we started with the game called Respawnable. We identify a segment that we believe was missing. The shooter were too realistic. We wanted something more casual, more adapted to the mobile with quick sequence and gameplay, but very high quality graphics. So and that's how Respawnable was born. So it has been live now for 2 years. We passed yesterday the 22 million downloads, and we're still having 200,000 people playing every day. So we're not doing user acquisition. I think we're probably amongst the few developers that we're not buying any marketing, not ad networks, nothing. It's all organic. Okay, so it's all, there is a community that's been built around the game, which is very active, and we're just giving good and quality content, feeding and updating the game. We have, in fact, more people after the launch than before the launch, and the game is still strong and is performing very well. So the company now is Another thing that happens is that we were doing a lot of things. We're doing racing games, we're doing sport games, we're doing dancing games and shooters, and it was not perceived as a value for the market. So when you do a lot of things, it's better to be specialized. So we reduce the scope and we focus on shooters. So now we're doing shooters on mobile, AAA shooters on mobile. So anything we're going to be doing in the coming years will be shooters on mobile. So the first thing is it's just a consideration. It's nothing new, but it's when you think gaming, you need to think mobile. I mean, mobile is the primary platform for gaming, without any discussion. It is a primary in terms of devices. We're talking 1.7 billion capable devices. It's a primary now in terms of revenue. So this year it passed the console revenue. So 30.3 billion in revenues. And very important, it covers all demographics. So that means that you have people playing mobile since, very early age, 1, 2 years, to very old, senior people. Everybody's playing mobile, and even cats and dogs. So you don't have that on any other devices. So that's very important. So it's everywhere. So now mobile, gaming device means mobile. So when you see the evolution, the gap is going to be growing and growing and growing. So that's a starting point from today's talk, is to consider that. We already start from the fact that mobile is the main gaming platform. So now I'm going to be talking a little bit about the console market. So console is breaking records. So it's true they have multi-billion-dollar franchise when you talk Call of Duty, Battlefield, Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed. But in mobile, we now also have multi-billion-dollar franchise. If you think of Clash of Clans, Gung Ho, those guys are doing over 1 billion per year. So that's changing. Then consoles records sales and adoption. So they announced yesterday 20.2 million PS4. I think only iPhone 6 sold 70 million. And so when you see that the gap is going to be growing, is going to be increasing. And it's true that consoles are still offering a different experience, more advanced, more immersive. But we're going to see later that that might change as well. So we expect for them a kind of bumpy road. Several reasons. First, distribution. So console is moving from retail distribution to digital distribution. So that means that the pricing is not, retail pricing is a fixed price, and you have very strict ways to change it. When you go to digital distribution, that means that you can change the price on the fly. So if you launch a title and the title is not performing as well as you thought, you can reduce price. So what's happening is that then you have like a trend of price going down. That happens already in mobile. That's why we started selling games at $9.99 in mobile. We ended at $0.79. And at the end, you say, well, $0.79 and free is almost the same, and that's why we jump on freemium. So something similar might happen to the console world. So they're going to be changing pricing. They're going to be changing business model. It's complicated because it's not just changing price and business model is not just, okay, you change the price. You need to redesign the games. You need to understand free-to-play. It took a lot of time for the mobile to understand that, and they're going to have to reinvent themselves and find a good balance. The other thing is they're going to be a fierce competition on the TV space. Right now, consoles, they're on the TV, so they're still dominating the TV. You're going to see later, NVIDIA announced a Shield device yesterday. Amazon launched a Fire TV as well. More going to be coming, and they're going to be I would say, competition there as well. And the last thing is innovation cycles are very long. So console innovation cycles, we're taking 10 years. Mobile, it's like 6 months. So what is that important for us is just because it's going to be meaning more players, more people moving from console to mobile, and it's going to be meaning as well more market share, more opportunities. Because if you have console players on mobile, they will need different type of content. So now a consideration on some evolution in terms of genres. So those are some ANI figures. And it's very interesting because when you talk mobile and top grossing, you think it's mainly casual, and this is changing. So it's now a mix of casual and not that casual. So that means there is an evolution, and you have, if you see now in terms of revenues, which is, you have a lot of now rolling playing is getting in top of the charts. That's on iOS. On Android, it's even worse, or better, whatever you say. So it means that the mobile audience is looking for something a little bit deeper. It's growing, so it's not that casual's going to die. It's just that there is a new audience that wants something more. Then we'll talk about market evolution. Evolution, and I mean, if you talk China, China right now is already on the very top. Most in traffic, but it's getting there in terms of downloads. Korea is a huge market, Japan as well. And then Brazil and Latam. So for us, for example, US is our first market, but Brazil is our second market. And we haven't done anything special for that. It's just, and then same thing, China is very, very active market. It's a specific, very, very complex, but very active. So that means as well that we're going to see later how this is interfering and how this is affecting to development, to genres, but all this is correlated. I mean, the RPG growing in the ranks is mainly driven by Asia. Then, you know, you have Indonesia and Taiwan. Those are more future. So those markets that are expected to grow a lot. So I think it's not impossible to think that in the future, your game will be performing better on those markets than on the US market. So that means in terms of development, it's very good to be aware of those markets because they're going to have a big impact on the sales. This is some evolution in terms of publishers. And it's interesting to see, and I'm going to check the revenues because, oh yeah, that works. So check out the flags here. And, you know, a lot of Asian. One Chinese, only one for the moment, but that's going to change. Some Japanese. But, of course, you have got, I mean, Finland and UK on the top. But it's interesting because that's not probably what people think when they think of top rankings. So it's moving, definitely it's moving east. And the other interesting thing here is to see that there is a lot of classic publishers. So you got EA and Square Enix. All the rest are newcomers. So, and that's going to be even evolving more. So you have, I would say, 3 types of publishers. You have the one that have been early adopter and are working well. So Electronic Arts has been there from the very beginning. They were already there on the Engage. So you got Gamelab, which is around here as well. Again, they're very early adopter. You have the newcomers, then the people that arrive, so like the Tencent and even the Supercell. So it's pretty recent. Then you have now things called like virtual publishers, like I don't know if you've heard about Scopely. So there are people that are just bringing knowledge, and it's veteran in the industry. So all the publishing ecosystem is going to be moving. But we miss a lot of big guys, big console guys, big franchise guys there. So Ubisoft is working quite interestingly on mobile, Activision as well, but they're still not there. But I'm sure, or I hope that they will be there next year. But there is a lot of movement here. Okay, now let's talk about trends of opportunity. The first thing is we're talking a very big audience, very universal audience. And I think now there is an opportunity of segment that audience. That means do specific content for a specific sub-segment in the audience. So I've put some up there. There are much more, but kids, definitely very interesting. Very, very interesting markets. Mid-core, hardcore. What is mid-core, what is hardcore, I don't know, but it means non-casual. Seniors as well. So if you check, I mean, how many people, senior people are playing Candy Crush? It's amazing. So, but those guys, some of them never ever played another game before. But, so there is a really interest. So I would say the classical solitaire, the card solitaire, is changed now by those type of games. So there is a huge market over there. That's in terms of audience segmentation. So I think that, you know, you have so many apps. I think you have 1.3 billion apps. That's the competition. So you need to outstand, and the only way to outstand is to focus. So one way to focus is to segment your audience. Wearable, of course. So it's a big word. Glasses, watches, sport, whatever. I think it's a big opportunity, but the thing there is to find the killer app, to find the right app that's going to validate that. It's important that whatever wearable it is, it brings value to the gamer, to the game. So there is no point of using a wearable just for using a wearable if it's not bringing you something new as a player. Well, I've put the Apple Watch. You had other, this morning there were a couple of talks from Sony, from other guys. So there are many, many out there. I think nobody cracked yet the great gaming experience on that, but definitely there is a huge interest in the market and huge opportunity. So it's a very good way to start. Then the other thing is user interface. Just a mention of sports. Sports is wearable and sport, they go really well together. So trying to find a game between wearables and sport, that I think will work as well very, very well. User interface. I think that's something we're a little bit behind, and it's probably one of the most expected evolution. The way you can interfere with the content. Maybe if we're talking later, we're going to talk about the TV. Maybe there is a gap there. Maybe there's something coming there. So we think that in user interface, natural interface, that's going to be big as well. And again, games that do use that would be very, very interesting. And of course, well, then virtual reality. Again, the important thing is to find a game that makes use of that and brings value to the player. Okay, mobile console. So Amazon pioneered with Fire TV, and NVIDIA announced yesterday the 180p Shield Android TV console. So the concept is interesting because it's a mobile architecture device, so it's an Android TV. So you can run Android games natively, but they can stream as well, I would say, console game. And so you have a gamepad, you got a big screen, and you got mobile device. That's not bad. So NVIDIA CEO said yesterday they believe it's a multi-billion market. So which means you need to put game out there. So that, again, big opportunity, and all those points we're going to see there later, they're converging to my last point, which is a AAA development. So very interesting. Apple launched as well compatibility with gamepad, Android as well. So there is something moving around that. So I think it's maybe this year something is going to be happening around TV, and NVIDIA and Amazon are pushing for that, but it would make a lot of sense that you have a store when you're sitting in your living room. Right now, living room is more movies, media, and console. So normally, part of the family is checking the TV, where others are playing other tablets. But it would be very interesting and very natural to be playing your mobile games on the TV. So that's my last point and what everything is going. So let's talk about hardware a little bit. So this is Metal, which is a new Apple API, and this is Vulkan. Vulkan was presented a couple of days ago, and Vulkan is a standard from Kronos, which is, I would say, the equivalent of Metal for Android. Why is this important? Because this is allowing you a low-level access to the device. This is allowing you much more power and CPU and control that you never had before. And this is getting very similar to the console development. So when you have all the industry moving in one direction, allowing you access to the very low level to get much more CPU and power to do much more games, it means that it's a trend. It's something that is moving into a very interesting direction. So, and today, we have already hardware which is more or less equivalent to last-gen console, and it is expected next year to be more or less the same as current gen console. So that means that the hardware gap won't be there anymore. Hardware is not anymore, you got controllers and you got big screen. So a lot of opportunity to do things there. So we've seen there is an evolution in terms of some problems on the hardware industry, evolution in terms of the hardware, some problems console industry, evolution in terms of hardware. So hardware is getting really, really, really powerful. The genders are moving as well to more mid-core and hardcore, and then you have as well controller. So I would say we have a lot of ingredients and elements to push the gaming, mobile gaming to the next limit. And I put here reinventing AAA content for mobile device. That means this is what's happening now, is you have all those capabilities, controls, TVs, CPUs, whatever, triangles, millions, trillions of triangles, but you need to do proper content that adapts to all that. And when you move to, I would say, classical development to mobile, it's not easy. So you got some vets from big veterans that tried. So, Ben Cousin tried with the droning, or then with Lowless. It was a very nice try to get into the shooter space. It didn't work. It didn't work. They had all the, they had money, they had the teams, it was a quality game, but it just didn't work. One of the founders of Halo, Serapion, has just launched a new project. Let's see how it works. So it's what I'm trying to say is the barrier is complicated. So moving to from console to mobile is very complicated. So there is a lot of opportunity for newcomers, and it's interesting for people that are already on mobile to try to rise up. Then you have some ports like XCOM. They did a great port, $20 premium. It was good. They make money, but I think it was like a short cycle, and they were using a lot of assets, pre-existing assets. So I don't think that would be the solution either. And I would say a good example, I pick one, there are several. One is Vain and Glory. Is a good example of what could be a starting point for next generation. So yeah, that's a note, is graphics and game engine. So since we're moving to very high-end now in mobile, graphics and engine are very important. And right now, the market is basically dominated by Unity and Unreal. And what we're seeing is that's a high dependency. And anything can happen. For the oldest one, maybe I'm the only, but EA did bought a company in the past. And then I mean, all the engine disappear with that company. So those things can happen. I'm not telling it's not happening, I'm not telling it's not good, but just make sure that you have first, you have still coders that know how to code in C++, not only Unity coders. And then, have a backup plan because you might need to have an engine. There might be acquisitions around, and maybe those engines that are now available disappear one day. So, yeah, so I think that's coming to the end, and the idea here is that there is really a lot of opportunities that are opening. That I think that this year we're going to be seeing a new reference in terms of mobile gaming. That we're going to be setting. We're going to be seeing games really absolutely incredible. So I would say check the companies that, well, that was when Apple announced the Metal, they announced a set of companies, so we're lucky to be there. But follow those guys, because one of those already launched Vain and Glory, but I think those teams are going to bring what mobile next generation are coming, and it's going to be a big, big step in terms of quality, in terms of gameplay, and in terms of market. Yeah, so I think that's all. Thank you very much.